Apex Legends is in a rough spot. Twitch and YouTube viewership is down, and the player count, while not at the lowest it's ever been, is slightly declining. And some Apex creators are starting to step away from Apex. And to clarify, by step away, I mean starting to expand their content creation beyond solely Apex. And I have one massive reason as to why this might be happening. And that reason is content and innovation. Apex has been in desperate need of content for as long as I can remember. I hate the way Apex handles events. For the past few years, the overwhelming majority of events have had no content. They're just a reason to sell you skins, sometimes accompanied by a prize tracker that provides a skin and some battle pass stars, which is what I would argue is far from what most people would define as content. And of course they want to sell you skins. It's how they make money. But when you compromise the quality of the game to sell people skins, it doesn't make people want to buy those skins. So the issue isn't the quality of Apex's content, it's the fact that there is very little content at all. The largest content update we have ever received in Apex history was in Season 9 when Arenas was first launched. Arenas is also a prime example of content mismanagement, which happens a lot in Apex Legends. Arenas had the potential to bring Apex Legends to the next level, but instead it was released in Season 9, Ranked was released in Season 10, had very few updates, and was ultimately shelved in Season 16, where it was replaced by Team Deathmatch initially, followed by the mixtape modes. All of which have received very few updates, and oftentimes people just use to farm levels with AFK bots. But for Arenas, it felt like there wasn't even an attempt to improve upon it. The complaints I had about Season 9 Arenas, I had about Season 16 Arenas. And even though they were both a part of Apex Legends, they were functionally different games. Despite that, Arenas was treated like it was a battle royale. While I don't like the idea, you can realistically make very few changes to a battle royale and have it still be interesting, because outside of the map being fixed, the loot spawns are often random, keeping gameplay interesting. But when you have Arenas, a hyper-controlled environment where people buy whatever weapons they want, and you can truly feel which weapons are overpowered and underpowered, and which abilities are overpowered and underpowered, after a few months, it becomes very stale, especially when the only objective is to eliminate the opponents. This could have been mitigated by offering different objectives in an arena game, and balancing arenas separately from Battle Royale, which might have proven to be too much work, or not in the top priorities for Respawn. Probably because they would have had to hire more people and spend more money. It's variety in games that keep them very interesting, even if they have very few updates. Ideally, you'd have both. By both, I mean lots of variety and plenty of updates. It feels like Respawn puts most of their resources into the events that accompany each season. And I use the word event very loosely. Events have content. The events in Apex are trying to sell you skins. And I'd argue that the skins in Apex are not worth the cost. You can argue that no skin in the video game is worth the cost. But when you compare what you get for $20 in Apex to other games, it becomes apparent that Apex is trying to nickel and dime players at every turn. No skin in Apex is worth $18. Especially not the weapon skins. Look at the quality of some of the weapon skins in Valorant that have interesting kill animations, reload animations, and oftentimes come with a new set of sound effects. Now those skins aren't cheap either. Not that $18 is cheap in the first place, but you can tell that there's effort put into those skins, at least more than Apex's. The game would also be a lot more interesting if all the maps were in rotation in pubs. In fact, there's no reason that they all shouldn't be. I shouldn't be forced to play an hour of Stormpoint, an hour of Broken Moon to get an hour of Olympus. Now let's focus on Apex's innovation. Apex has changed very little since launch, at least compared to other games. Look at Fortnite at launch and look at Fortnite now. Look at PUBG at launch and look at PUBG now. Now, in Apex, we get a map every year or two and a new character every couple of seasons. This is a good and a bad thing, because when I launch Apex after taking a break, I know exactly what I'm getting into. It's not like Fortnite where I stop playing for a couple of weeks and I have no idea what's happening. But when these major changes are few and far between and they come out and they're lackluster, it really brings down the community sentiment. Even balance changes are few and far between, it feels like. I don't know how long I've been complaining about the Nemesis being very annoying. Now, I know I just complained about content content from events and innovation, but I hope that they keep LTM-like modes and unranked separate. That's my main criticism of Fortnite's content. I am forced to play with broken, unbalanced items, and while it can be fun, it gets old after a while. Like, the copycat kits were really fun to play with, but every team having a catalyst wall or a caustic ultimate, or several of them, was really annoying. And I hate the argument that I have to play ranked to avoid stuff like that. People have gone as far as to say that Apex is dead, which isn't true. And I know that's in the thumbnail of this video, but that's beside the point. And you watched the video this long, which I appreciate. Thank you for that. But Apex is still among one of the most played games on Steam, and probably on Xbox and PlayStation 2. However, if Apex is to maintain its position or grow, Respawn has to make changes to how they run the game. A couple of great LTMs are not going to restore community sentiment. They need to take a couple of pages from Epic's book. If the balance update isn't received well, make some adjustments, communicate those adjustments with your community, and if required, make adjustments to those adjustments. Putting more effort into the paid cosmetics in the game wouldn't hurt either. Valorant has animated sprays, cool kill animations, melee weapons with selectable styles that don't cost $150, among other things. Also, having all the maps in pubs wouldn't hurt. And if 5 maps is too many for one playlist, you could split them into 2 and then nobody would play the one with Stormport and Broken Moon. Just saying.